Okay, so something huge is happening in the world of AI right now. Google just pulled a move that could, and I mean really could, change the AI chip war forever. And they're not just building a faster chip. Nope, they're going after the one thing that's kept Nvidia untouchable for all these years. This is about breaking down the walls of a software fortress. Let's get into it.
So you gotta ask, right? Why is Nvidia truly untouchable in the AI chip market? I mean, everyone talks about their crazy powerful GPUs, the H100s, the new Blackwell chips. But listen, if you think this is just about having the fastest hardware, you're missing the real story here.
I mean, just look at how Wall Street sees things. If you check out how these companies are valued, Nvidia is trading at this massive premium. We're talking something like 50 times its earnings. Meanwhile, competitors like AMD or Intel, they're way down, maybe around 25 times, sometimes even less. So the market, Wall Street, they clearly see something special in Nvidia, and trust me, it's not just about the silicon.
So, what's the real secret? The source of all this incredible power? It's software. It's a platform called CUDA. This is Nvidia's true moat, their secret weapon, and it's something they've been building for almost 20 years.
So what even is CUDA? Well, it's Nvidia's own special software platform. The best way to think about it is like a translator. It's the essential bridge that lets software developers, the people building AI models, actually talk to and unlock all that insane power packed into Nvidia's GPUs. Seriously, without CUDA, that super expensive hardware, it's basically a paperweight.
And look, this was not some overnight thing. Nvidia launched CUDA way back in 2006. That's almost 2 decades they've spent carefully, painstakingly optimizing it, building this whole ecosystem around it. And the most important part? They made sure it works absolutely seamlessly with the king of AI frameworks, PyTorch. And believe me, that connection to PyTorch, it is everything. PyTorch is the undisputed industry standard. You hear about ChatGPT, Midjourney, Anthropic's Claude? Yep, the folks building those amazing tools are almost definitely using PyTorch. And PyTorch, for all intents and purposes, was built from the ground up to run perfectly on Nvidia's CUDA.
So all of this together creates what people like to call a software moat. But honestly, I think that's too soft. It's more like a software prison, because once you're in, it is incredibly, incredibly hard to get out.
Yeah, and this quote just nails it, right? That's not a technology advantage, that's the totally pure ecosystem lock-in. It's not that Nvidia's chips are just a little bit better. No, it's that they have created this perfect, unbreakable lock-in that literally traps their customers. Let me walk you through why it's a prison, okay? Imagine this. Your entire AI company, all your models, are built on PyTorch and running on Nvidia GPUs. Then a competitor comes along with a cheaper chip that's actually available. Sounds great, right? Well, here's the catch. That new chip doesn't speak CUDA, so to use it, you'd have to rewrite millions, literally millions, of lines of code. The cost, the time, the risk, it's astronomical. So what do? You stay locked in with Nvidia. And the price tag on this lock-in, it's just staggering. We're talking about trillions of dollars in market value. This is so much bigger than just selling chips. This is about controlling the entire ecosystem where AI is born.
Okay, but this is where the whole story takes a fascinating turn. Because someone is trying to pick the lock. Google has a secret weapon that they are deploying right now to try and break this prison wide open. And it's a project called Torch TPU.
So here's the deal. Google has its own powerful AI chips. They call them TPUs, and they're really competitive. But they've always had this one massive problem: the software. See, Google built their TPUs to work with their own internal software, a framework called JXA. Great for Google, but terrible for everyone else who uses the industry standard PyTorch. It meant if you wanted to use Google's chips, you were back to that same nightmare scenario, a massive, painful code rewrite. So what happened? A lot of powerful Google TPUs just sat there, underused.
So the goal of this new project, Torch TPU, is almost deceptively simple, but it is revolutionary. It's to completely eliminate that switching cost. We're not talking about some clunky workaround here. We're talking about making Google's TPUs natively compatible with PyTorch. The dream is a developer can take their existing PyTorch code, do literally nothing to it, and just run it on Google's hardware instead of Nvidia's. No rewrites, no headaches, it just works.
And now for the plot twist that makes this whole thing feel like a spy thriller. Google is not doing this alone. They have a partner, a very unlikely one, Meta.
Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, Meta? The company that created PyTorch? Why on earth would they help Google? Well, it's a classic case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. For Google, the motive is pretty clear. They want to drive adoption of their TPUs and grow their cloud business. But for Meta, it's all about leverage.
Just think about it for a second. Meta is one of Nvidia's biggest customers, which also means they are one of the biggest prisoners in that software jail. By helping make Google's TPUs a real, viable alternative, they suddenly get a key to their cell. They get negotiating power, they can go to Nvidia and Google and play them against each other to get better prices and, just as importantly, a more stable supply of chips.
All right, so let's zoom out. What does all of this mean for the rest of us, for the entire AI industry? Well, if this project actually succeeds, the fallout could be massive. It could completely reshape the entire AI chip war as we know it.
Because if Torch TPU actually works, it's not just a win for Google, it becomes a blueprint, a template for everyone else. Chipmakers like AMD and Intel could follow the exact same playbook to make their hardware work seamlessly with PyTorch. And that injects real competition into the market. It could drive down costs, and maybe, most importantly, it could make these incredibly powerful AI chips accessible to, mere mortals, not just the giant corporations.
And make no mistake, Google is playing for keeps here. Reports are saying they're even thinking about open sourcing parts of Torch TPU. This tells you it's not about them trying to build their own moat. No, their goal is to completely decimate the moat that's kept everyone trapped in Nvidia's ecosystem. They're willing to give the key away for free.
Now the big question, the absolute key to all of this is timing. If this takes, say, 3 years to really get going, Nvidia will have plenty of time to strengthen its defenses. But if this becomes a real, working alternative in the next few months, right when companies are starting to feel the heat to justify their massive AI spending, the impact could be, well, seismic.
So this whole alliance, this move by Google and Meta, it really forces us to ask a pretty fundamental question. For the first time in a very long time, because the attack is on the software, not just the hardware, is the AI chip war finally about to become a fair fight?